In this video, we will try to solve a query which is of intermediate level. So for that I have created two tables which are salary and employee department. Let me query the table, then I will explain the question. So these are the two tables. I'm executing it. So we have two tables which are this is salary table and this is employee department table. So this salary table has an ID, employee ID, then amount and pay date. And the employee department table has two columns which are employee ID and department ID, which shows which employee belongs to which department. And in the salary table we have salary received by each employee and the pay date and the date on which they are getting paid. And the question is, write a query to display the comparison result of average salary of employees in a department. That is, we have to compare the average salary of employees in a department to the company's average salary. So the two things which we have to find are average department salary as well as company average monthly salary. And we have to compare both these columns for every department and month. And we have to find a comparison column with the result either higher, lower or same. That is comparing average department salary and comparing average department salary to the company average salary, and we have to show that if that is higher, lower or same as the company average salary. So our output should contain the 5 columns which are the month in which the employees are getting paid, the corresponding department, then the average department salary, then the company average monthly salary, that is the overall average salary that is provided by the company. Then finally we have to compare the average monthly salary and average department monthly salary. Then we have to show either the average department salary is greater than or less than, or if it's equal to the company average salary. So let us start writing the query for the same. So I am going to use a concept called as CTE here, that is common table expression. So for that, initially we will start writing the query, then we will put that inside a CTE, and then we will move on and write the other queries as well. So we'll start with select. The first thing is we are going to join the two tables, that is salary table and the employee underscore department table we are going to join. For that, we have employee ID in both the tables as a common column. So I'm going to use this employee ID to join the two tables and show the corresponding departments corresponding to employee ID, amount and pay date in a same table. So for that, select star from salary table. Also I am giving an alias name as S, which is the starting letter of the table, and we are going to join the EMP underscore department table, and the alias name is ED, and the column on which I am going to join the tables are employee ID. For both the tables we have employee ID as the common table, so it's dot employee underscore ID equal ED dot employee underscore ID. So we have joined the two tables. Now let us query the result and see what we are getting. So now we have employee ID, amount, pay date, and this is the employee ID and department which is coming from the second employee department table, since we have joined the two tables. Now one more thing we have to find here. So our result is asking us to give us the month. So here we don't have a month column, so we are going to use a function called as date part to find the month from pay date column. So after this star, I'm going to create one more column, that is the month column, and I'm going to use a function called as date part, and the argument inside the bracket should be, the first one should be month, because I want month from the pay date column, and the second argument should be the column from which I am fetching the data, pay date. Next is I'm going to give an alias name, that is month itself. Now I'm going to run the query and let us see the result. Now as you can see, we have got one more column, that is a month column as well. So now we have to find the average company salary for a particular month as well as average department salary for a particular month. So for that, even before writing the next query, let me remove the star and give each column its own name. Otherwise what would happen is, when we use this, put this query inside a CTE, and then if we query the table, then we will get an error because two of the columns are having the same name. I can show you that as well. See, I'm going to put this inside a CTE. The syntax is like, I'm going to give with the table name is table1. We can give any name, and this is the syntax with the CTE table name as followed by a bracket, and inside the bracket we should write the query which we are putting inside, or which we are considering as the common table expression, and after that we can query this table using the name which I have given here, that is table underscore 1. So select star from table underscore 1. If I query the table, let us see what we are getting. See, now if I run the query, the same error we are getting because the column employee ID was specified multiple times for table 1. So we'll give that column different name so that this error we won't be getting. So once more I will run the query inside the common table expression only in order to see all the columns. So we want the employee ID. So I will remove the star and put s dot employee underscore ID as emp underscore id. Then I want the amount because on that amount only we are going to calculate the averages. So s dot amount as amount only. Next column is, we don't want pay date because we only want month in the result. So it's not necessary that we should take the pay date as well. So I'm not going to take pay date. The next employee ID, also it's not necessary that we have to put that employee ID in the result because we already have an employee ID in the result. We have already fetched one employee ID, so that is only required. So I'm not going to take this employee ID column also, but department column ID I require. So that is coming from the second table, that is emp underscore dept ed. So ed dot department underscore id as dept underscore id. So now we have fetched all the columns that are required. Now let us query the table and let us see if we are getting an error. Hopefully it should not. Yes. So now we are getting the employee ID, department ID and month as well as the amount. Now what we have to find is, we have to find the average monthly salary as well as average department monthly salary. For that I'm going to use the average function. So instead of this star, in the result we want department, we want in the result. So dept underscore id as department, comma, then we want month in the result, that is month. Then we have to find the average salary, so average of amount. But here I can't simply put average of amount because if I simply put average of amount, this query will calculate the average of all the amounts present inside the table. But in the question it is given that we want to find the average department monthly salary, that is there should be a partition within the average calculation. So we are going to consider the average function as a window function and create a partition within that. So I'm going to use the syntax over, and inside the bracket we are going to create a partition by. So based on two things we are going to create the partition, that is based on department as well as based on month, to obtain the average department monthly salary. So the two columns which should be inside the partition are dept underscore id, comma, followed by the month. Now let us close this, and this is the department average salary. Next thing what we have to find is, we have to find the company average monthly salary. That is the average monthly salary we have to find. For that, the partition should be based on month. So I will copy the query. Here also we are considering this same equation but with a different partition. So we don't want to consider department here because we want to calculate the average salary for each month. So the partition should be based on month. So the equation is same, that is average of amount over partition by month, and the alias name is company average salary, company underscore avg. So now let us query the result and now let us run the query and see what is the result that we are getting. Yes. Now as you can see, we got department, month, department average column as well as the company average salary. This is department average, that is for a particular department, and corresponding to a month, what is the department average salary, and this is the company average salary for a particular month. Now in the result what we want is, we want a comparison column, that is we are going to compare the department average salary with the company average salary, and we will show if the department average salary is greater than, less than, or equal to the company average salary. Now let us write one more column. Also, in order to simplify the query, we will put this query also inside a common table expression. So how we will do that is, we will put a comma after the first CTE expression. We will write a second name, that is this should be table underscore 2, and we will open a bracket. Now we will close the bracket. Now we can, if we simply query the table, that is select star from table underscore 2, we will get the same result. We are going to make some modification on this query. I'm getting this error because even before the common table expression, I was using two queries to simply query the table salary and employee underscore department. That is why I'm getting that error. So make sure that before running the expression or the query with common table expression, we should terminate other queries with a semicolon. So here I'm not going to run this query again because we don't want to run this query. So I'm going to consider this as comments only. Now if I run the query, I won't be getting this error. As you can see, we got the same result like we did previously. So we have the department, month, department average, and the company average in our result. So now we want a comparison column as well. So after this star, I'm going to create one more column that will be using the case statement, that is comma case when department salary dept underscore avg greater than company underscore avg, then it's higher, then we are going to write the second condition, that is when department average less than company average, then it's lower, that is department average less than company average, then lower. Next condition is when department average equal company average, then same. And now we are going to end the case statement and we are going to give an alias name as comparison. Now if we run the query, we will get a new column, that is comparison column with the comparison between department average and the company average. Now let us run this and we can see that we have a new column, that is comparison column with the company average comparison with the department average. Now in the result we can see that we have department month combinations getting duplicated. So what we can do is, we can see that here, see department to month to duplicate, the result is same here. Similarly we have department to month 3, result getting duplicated with the same result coming across the column, sorry, coming across the row. So what we can do is, we can We can put a distinct at the beginning, and then we can run the query and see our result. Now if we run the query, we can see that we got the comparison between department average salary and company average salary for every month and department combination, and we have the result as well. This is how we write the query for the same. Thank you.